Hey guys, I'm CJ Beaumont. Some of you know me as Chelsea Moy, but CJ Beaumont is my pen name. You're welcome to follow me in either place. I'll drop links in the comments a little bit later, but I wanted to go ahead and get started. And I'd like to get to where I can see the comments on my phone, but if I can't, that's cool. I'll try to keep everything rolling here on the computer. But let me get my nervous blabbering out of the way. I'm so sorry, guys. Also, sorry I look like a hot mess, but I am deep in the writing on Possessing the Alpha right now, and I don't really have time for self-care. So, just a little bit about myself before I get started. I am a lifelong bibliophile and creative writer from the Mobile, Alabama area, and I am trying to feature real locations throughout the South in my stories just because I love these places so much. Possessing the Alpha actually takes place in my hometown of Beaumont, Alabama, so shout out to Beaumont. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with reading this excerpt, and I hope you guys can hear me well in spite of the air conditioner, but it's too hot to not have it on tonight, so just going to roll with it and hope you guys can hear me. I'm really excited to share this with you, and thanks for being here. So here we go. My best friend stood up and approached me, placing a hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry, Lucy. I know doing things the right way is important to you. I'll try harder to do whatever I can to help you. See that you do. We both jumped at the unexpected sound of my father's raspy, strained voice. Brandon's hand fell away from my shoulder, and he snapped to attention, standing ramrod straight as we turned to face our Alpha. My father was still regal, in spite of the fact that he was leaning hard on a cane and struggling to breathe properly. The dark circles under his eyes almost made it look like he'd been in a fist fight and gotten two black eyes. It didn't stop him from staring down Brandon, and my best friend quickly dropped his gaze. If you can't be serious about training Lucy, I can always find someone who will. I heard a derisive snort from behind my father and scowled as Charlie, the pack beta, appeared at my father's side. I hoped my father wasn't suggesting him as a new sparring partner. I felt heat rising inside me, and it had nothing to do with the humid August temperature outside. Despite my body's instant reaction to Charlie, I had zero desire to suffer through prolonged exposure to him. His mouth quirked up on one side, almost as though he'd guessed my thoughts. I wanted nothing more than to smack the knowing smirk off his too handsome face. My hands curled into fists, nails digging into my palms as I resisted the urge. He walked closer and looked me up and down, his disdain for me plain in his expression. I'm not sure how much good sparring is going to do, if we're being honest. Excuse me? I crossed my arms over my chest and glared at him as Brandon bristled at my side. I could tell by the tension radiating from my best friend's spring-wound stance that he was ready to leap to my defense. I laid my hand on his arm for a second to calm him before I stepped forward, challenging Charlie's personal space as I awaited his answer. Which might have been a mistake, since my heart started pounding and my skin flushed with heat. Focused on reining in my unwanted response to him, I almost missed his words. I just don't see how a college-educated, pampered princess who's had everything handed to her for her entire life has any hope of being a good alpha. He shot a sideways glance at my father, and I did too. Did my father share Charlie's opinion? He couldn't. Otherwise, why would he have spent years teaching me about the duties of the pack alpha? The only indication Dad gave that he'd even heard Charlie was a wry twist of his mouth and a half shrug, as if to say he didn't have a dog in this particular fight. Seriously? My father wasn't going to back me up? But then, if I wanted to be alpha one day, I couldn't expect someone else to fight my battles for me. Sorry for the stammering, guys. A wave of indignant rage washed over me as I angled my chin up to stare directly into Charlie's critical amber-brown eyes. I'm the Blackburn heir, Charlie, whether you like it or not. I worked hard for my business degree. Nobody handed me a 3.7 GPA. I worked my ass off for it. I didn't coast by on my family's name. If you think give a flip that I happen to have the same name as a street and a park here in Bay Minette, you're dead wrong. Charlie huffed out a humorless laugh and rolled his eyes before stepping toward me, using his superior height and size to try to intimidate me. I refused to back down. I hope you guys enjoyed this excerpt. I need to get back to writing like ASAP so I can get this polished up and turned in on time. But let me know what you think in the comments, and have a great night, guys. Thanks. Bye.